Hi, my name is Alex Konieczny. I'm a historic interpreter here at the beautiful Troy Historic Village. In 1955, Troy became a city, and since then it has grown to a bustling, multicultural city full of people from all over the world. This project, Many Stories, One Heritage, seeks to record the authentic stories of first and second generation Asian American immigrants to this city who now call it home. The following interview you're about to hear is one of 12 interviews we've recorded for the Many Stories, One Heritage project.
Well, I grew up in India. I grew up in a state that's called Goa. Most people know India as it was a colony of the British, but where I grew up, it was a Portuguese colony, and the Portuguese were there till 1961, and I was born in '59, which I was actually born under the Portuguese occupation. A family of 5 kids. My father was a government servant, and we had very modest means in those days. Okay? But our family always, it was a very close-knit family. We always looked after each other, and we were always focused on work hard, study hard, education, and my parents really supported me in when I expressed my interest to come to the United States.
So tell me a little bit more about where you were born. What was your house like and things like that?
We were probably one of the few people who had a nice house. My father was in a government service meant like you were an educated person, because in those days under the Portuguese occupation, there really were no schools. There were no elementary schools, or there were no colleges. So my father actually learned as a Portuguese degree. We had a very close-knit neighborhood. Everybody knew each other in the neighborhood. We were probably one of the few who had a very structured routine, like our lights would be out at 10 o'clock at night. Dinner time was 8 o'clock. And even if for a day, if our light would remain on like till 10:30, next morning neighbors would be up there knocking on the door to see how's it going, was somebody not well, what happened. It was like a big extended family. We all walked to school. Most people did not have a car. There was only probably one family who had a telephone, and if they got a phone call, they would send their kids to the household, and then we would go to their house to take the phone call. So everybody kind of took care of each other. Everybody looked after each other, and sometimes I really reminisce about those times, because life here is so different. Then even though people did not have whole lot, there was a lot that would share with each other.
So tell me a little bit about like your immigration experience. What was it like coming over?
I went to one of the elite colleges in India, and having been there, it was kind of a trend in those days that after you graduate, you kind of headed to the United States for higher studies. So I don't even know why I did that, but probably it was kind of like everybody else was doing it, and it was kind of the natural thing to do. I got a scholarship at University of Maine, and that was the only scholarship I got. I applied to a lot of places, but for whatever reasons, I got admission, but we didn't have the resources to be able to pay the tuition or to be able to support. So the only one I could take was the University of Maine, because they gave me a full scholarship, and they also gave me stipend in those days, 1982. I think I was getting $300 a month, and I could still make it in those $300 to be able to pay for my shared apartment and everything else. I think it was in September that I came, and it snows in Maine. I think it starts snowing probably right in June. And the first time I saw the snow, I was like running on the campus because I'd never seen snow before. I'd seen snow only in movies, okay? And it was kind of like rich people, who went to Switzerland and who went to places where it snowed, and it was like ecstasy, just kind of walking around there, just in the snow. And I still remember that day.
So what made you come to the United States?
Well, I applied for the master's, for the graduate program, along with my just like my other friends were doing, and I did a master's in mechanical engineering. It was a beautiful program over there. It was small school, and after that, then I did another graduate program in computer science. It was 1984, and I think there was a period of recession. There were no jobs available, even with a higher degree. And the only place where opportunities existed were in the field of computer, which was just coming up. So I kind of left the engineering behind, and I plunged into computer science, and I worked hard, and I got another master's. And right after that, I got a opportunity at General Motors, and now I've been gainfully employed for the last 30 years at General Motors, right? But I think United States, I think, is still the best place, whether you are a student or you are a working professional. I think the environment, the tolerance from the society, from everybody. I think on a balance, I still feel it's the best place to be.
Had you ever come to the U.S. before you moved here?
No. I don't think I had even been out of the country. I don't think I had even traveled much, even within India, because family with modest means, we never took any vacation. So the only time I went outside was when I went to college, and I stayed in the dormitory. But other than that, I had no travel experience. So this was, for the first time going outside the country, it was a major step.
Did you know English before you came here?
Yes, because all my education was in English medium. The K through 12 education and my 5 years of the college was in English. So that was not a problem. Probably the problem may have been the accent, that I had to get used to the American accent, and then I'm sure they had to get used to mine.
How did you feel about moving?
My sister was in New York City, and she had been there for about 5 years. So there was a connection there. So even though I never had much of a travel experience, I mean, her being there, that was kind of like a comfort for me, that there is somebody in case of need or anything. There is somebody that I can count on. And I remember when she was here for 5 years, and when she used to call, she would tell us ahead of time when she was going to call, and then we had to book a phone call, and then we all had to gather around the phone, and then we had to make the notes what we were going to talk to her. Those were back in the late 70s and early 80s. It was a whole different kind of experience that time, even talking on a telephone to America.
How did your parents feel about you coming over?
Well, I know for parents, when the child moves away, it is always emotional, and they were emotional about me going far away, just like they were emotional about my older sister going far away. And we used to write letters in those days because we did not have a telephone at home. And so I used to write letters, and my dad used to reply to me back. So the communication was mostly just in letters. So it was very much a distant relationship. But whenever we talked, it was like connecting back. There were very few phone calls, and very far in between. But we always had each other in mind. I had my family in mind, and they had me in their mind.
What was your kind of experience? Like, what did you feel like when you first got here? What was going through your head and that kind of thing?
Well, the first experience I had was landing at JFK, and my sister, she couldn't be there on time, but she had given me instructions on how to use the payphone. Okay? But I couldn't really tell between a dime and quarter and what a nickel looked like. And I tried to make the phone call. I did not have a lot of experience with technology because we did not have a telephone at home. And as probably it was meant to be, the call did not go through, and I heard this voice of a woman talking to me, and I tried to explain to her I just landed in United States and I need help, and that voice just would not offer me any assistance. And I still remember I was so mad. I'm coming to this advanced country, and there's a woman at the other line, and she's not helping me because the thought that there could be machines who can talk, it was a completely foreign concept. And then the person who was standing behind me, he kind of saw that I was having some trouble, and then he stepped forward. And the first thing he said to me is that, "Take your quarter back." He said, "Don't leave it there." And he gave me the money, and then he helped me make the phone call.
Walk me through your first week in the United States.
The first week, I was at the school, and the International Student Association, they had a real nice program at the University of Maine, and they would take good care when they would first arrive. So they would help us get settled down. They put us in the dorm. When I went to eat the food in the dorm, I had to ask, okay, is this beef? Is this pork? Because since I'm not strictly vegetarian, but I don't eat beef and pork, right? Taking a shower with the tub, I'd never seen a tub. I mean, I did not know which side of the tub the shower curtain went. And I remember, I think I left the shower curtain outside the tub, and after that first shower, there was water all over the bathroom. Me and a friend of mine, we decided to take a apartment right in the first week because it was expensive to live in the dorm. And we looked in the newspaper, and we went then to Bangor, which was 10 miles away, and we rented an apartment, and then we went around asking what the bus schedule like here. And then we found out that there are no buses. There are probably maybe 3 buses in the whole day, and we had already signed a lease. It was tough. We learned a lot of things. We had to get a connection for utilities, and we went around asking people, where is the electricity department? Because that's what you call it in India. And every place we went to, they said, there is no electricity department until we realized that, well, you're supposed to call it utilities, and then you know what to do. So there was a lot of just trying to learn the different culture, learn the lingo, and just to communicate. But there were a lot of funny moments.
Do you have any other examples of those kind of fun moments?
Well, yes, there were some funny moments, and then there were some not so funny moments. I remember one time, I think it was a weekend, and we were living in Bangor, and we went to the school because we had a project due, and we had to get there, and we had to get the work done. And we took the bus back. There was a off-site campus, and so we would take the bus to the off-site campus, and we asked the driver if he could drop us off the freeway, because then it would be a shorter walk for us. And the driver said, I can't drop you off. I got to take you all the way to the off campus. He says, those are the rules. And I remember there was a woman who was sitting in the bus, and she said, well, but today is a holiday. There are no other buses running around. Can you please drop him? It would be nice. I mean, they would be close to home. But the driver said, no, I can't. And he took us all the way to the off campus, and we walked probably for a couple of hours from there to get to our apartment.
Did you have to take a bus like that every time? Like, how did you get back and forth?
I think we stayed there for a whole semester, and we had to take the bus, and then we had to kind of work our way around it. Sometimes we would stay on the campus at one of our friends' place. But then for the second semester, after having learned our lesson, we then took a apartment in close to campus. Yeah.
What was the hardest thing to get used to in America?
I think the hardest thing I think was when you're traveling, and then every place you go, I mean, there are burgers, and I grew up in a family where we had a very strong religious upbringing. We were a progressive family, but religious upbringing was still part of us. So we observed like certain days of the week, in my family, Mondays and Thursdays are strictly vegetarian. Vegetarian, you can't even eat onion, there is no garlic, there is this and that. And when you're traveling in those days, it would be really hard to find something that would be a decent vegetarian meal. You couldn't go to McDonald's and say, okay, give me a vegetarian sandwich. I mean, they would say, okay, I can give you a sandwich without any meat or without anything. You can just have the bun. And eating salad, it was not kind of considered, I mean, the hip thing. I mean, at least where I grew up, it is just like an eating grass. So the hardest thing in those days was like food. You even when you travel, you always were kind of tended then to pack something up, like with rice, with yogurt, or some kind of a vegetable curry, or something like that.
You said you couldn't eat onions or garlic. Why was that?
I think in the Hindu scriptures, they have kind of classified the different types of foods and how certain foods have certain effects on your body, your mind, and in that category, things like onion and garlic, they are not considered like clean foods or like pure foods. So on certain days of the week, and because of our family traditions and the gods that we worship, Mondays and Thursdays were like auspicious days. It could be different for different families. Maybe for them, Tuesdays and Saturdays may be the most auspicious days. But for us, the Mondays and Thursdays, and we still follow that. Even our kids have kind of learned, and we taught them early on. So even before they could think for themselves, it was kind of became a second nature for them. I remember our kids would come home when there was a birthday of one of their classmates on Monday, and they would bring the cake home because the cake, I mean, typically has eggs in it. And yes, I mean, you don't eat eggs on Mondays. And even till today, when they if they get box of cookies, something that they have not tried before, they will look at the ingredients and they say, okay, what is in it, and is it okay?
Actually, on that point, is there any other traditions that you keep up as a family from India?
Yes, the different festivals that we celebrate throughout the year. And actually, when they do, even when my family back home, I still have my mother who is 96 now, and I have brothers and sisters. But if they have a major service at home, they will let us know. And they expect that in those days, we will observe it over here too. But we observe all the cultural holidays and the religious holidays, which is per the Hindu calendar. Yeah.
Do you still speak any of the languages from India in your home?
Yes, I still do, because my wife also comes from a nearby place. So both of us speak the Indian language at home, right? But there are so many different Indian languages. Every state has its own language. So I'm not well versed in all the Indian languages, just a few of them. But at home, we both speak the same language, and we speak the same language with our kids. They understand it perfectly well, and they will reply back in English.
Wow, which language is that?
It's called Konkani. It is native just to the state of Goa. It is not spoken outside. It still uses the mainstream Indian alphabet, but it is not spoken outside the tiny state of Goa.
Do you ever go back to India?
Yes, I go back about once a year, and especially because my mother is there. She used to come here a lot when the kids were small, and she would spend time with them. She would stay probably from 6 months to a year at a time. But now with her old age, it is difficult for her to travel. So I go back every year, and I like to spend time with her. She is now at a point where she doesn't remember a lot of things. She doesn't remember people. Her short-term memory is kind of failing, and it's always an emotional trip when I go to see her. And sometimes I worry, oh, I mean, will she know who I am? And having not seen me for so long. But I call her about once a week. Even though she is not capable of kind of holding a conversation now, even more than 10 minutes. I still call her, and I keep reminding her, okay, who I am. I will probably make a trip later this year, and if we go back, if there is a wedding in the family. My nephews or my nieces, if they are getting married, or if there is anything of the sort, then we make a point to go back and be part of the celebration with the family.
How do you feel like your education experiences in India are different from that of what your children got here in the United States?
Well, the education system in India when I was in school, which was in early 70s, okay, and late 70s. It was very much driven by textbooks. Okay, you had material in the textbooks, and you have to almost like memorize it. You have to learn it by heart. So most of the people who grew up in India have a pretty good memory, right? But just the concept was not there that you can kind of think for yourself. And if there is a question, not say math or in science, but outside of that, there can be more than one answer to the same question, depending upon somebody's point of view. And there can be different points of views, and all those points of views could be equally valid. Somehow that was not exactly part of the curriculum. So most of the time it was always like, okay, what does the teacher want? And what do I have to do to answer what the teacher wants, instead of what am I learning for myself? What kind of competencies I'm developing, what kind of a skill set I'm developing. It was very much like a textbook driven. But when our kids started going here to school, okay, it was a different experience. And I know that I kind of had to learn with them. And I think in that sense, we kind of grew up ourselves. Okay, I remember one time, and this is because my son keeps reminding me. He says, "Dad, I came home with 95 on math, and you said, what happened to the remaining 5?" I said, and I have apologized to him so many times for that, but he keeps reminding me of that. And I think over time, I think I've gotten over it, and the kids have helped me get over it, and I think that was great. Both of our kids somehow they had a great interest for liberal arts. Like our son was always interested in history and government, and so it was kind of different. It was kind of different. I would read his history books. I would read his books on government, and I would learn along with him. And I think it was great that both our kids kind of chose a different line of education and their career.
Can you tell me if you've had any experience with discrimination or insensitivity?
I would say in general, I would say not much. But then I've been in a school environment and schools generally, and especially having the International Student Association that provided good support for the international students, and then working at General Motors. But one time when I was in New York City, and I think it was night time, and I was out on the pavement, just outside a convenience store, and a passerby who stopped by me, and he hit me on the head, and he said, "You Hindu," and he had another word to throw in there, and it was unnerving. I didn't know what am I supposed to do. Is something going to happen to me? Because it was just out of the blue. But I would say otherwise, I say that I've been kind of lucky. I've been kind of lucky that I've not really had any kind of overt racism. But I think insensitivity is kind of hard to say. I mean, what is insensitive and what is not, right? Like when you have a workplace event, will they remember to order vegetarian pizzas, or is it all going to be pepperoni? And I mean, things are changing now, but in those days, I don't think people paid that much attention to others. Not that I think because they wanted to be insensitive, but I think they were probably not exposed, and they probably did not think that there are other cultures where they have a different lifestyle and they have different eating habits and such. It is changing a lot now. Now I know that at workplace, anytime we decide where to go to eat, they will ask, okay, if you go XYZ, will you have something to eat there? So I think things have changed a lot in the last few years.
Have your children been bullied or discriminated against, do you know?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so. We have been, I think, very fortunate in living in Troy, because Troy is now really become multicultural. I think more than 20% of Troy, I think, has an immigrant-born population, and so the schools have done an excellent job in terms of how they have responded to this, in terms of their curriculum, in terms of their cafeteria. And I remember when our kids were little, and when we started the elementary school, we got a questionnaire asking if they need any language help, if they need any special help, do we speak English with them at home, and if they need any extra help. So I think from that point of view, just living in Troy, I think that has helped a lot.
So have you gone through the citizenship process?
Yes, we went to the citizenship process. We went to the green card process first, and then through the citizenship process. And once we had made the choice to live in United States, I think we just wanted to be just like everybody else, to be able to vote in the elections, to have a voice in the local issues. And there really was no reason to hold on to citizenship of another country. And then again, every time we would go to India and come back, we would have to have a visa to come back, and we had to make sure that visa is current. So it just kind of made sense for us. And once our kids were born, and and they were going to grow up here, and there was no way they were going to move out of here. And being gainfully employed here, it just kind of made sense to get the citizenship and just be a full-fledged American.
Had you intended on staying here when you first moved here for school?
No, I don't think so. No, I came, and my intent was that yes, I'm gonna stay here. I will do my graduate school, and then I will go back. But then what happens is one thing leads to another, and then everything here is just kind of is so welcoming that you start getting used to it, and the longer you stay away from your family, the ties then kind of start to weaken. And then in '86, which was just 4 years after I came, my father passed away. And the ties are always strongest with your parents. And after my father passed away, I think it was kind of losing little bit of the connection to India. And I think I don't think I had any qualms about then deciding to stay here and just take the citizenship and just pursue my career at the company that I was working.
What was that citizenship process like for you?
It was probably a 2-year process. In those days, you had to go through a whole bunch of forms. But the nice thing was that in those days, I did not have to do it on my own. My company did all the sponsorship work. They had the company lawyers who would take care of it. So it went much smoothly for me. I just had to make sure that I provide them all the documents, the marriage certificates, and make sure I get all the material that they needed from India. But in those days, it was much easier and much simpler, and I was kind of one of those lucky people that my company did it for me.
When you were young, what did you want to do with your life?
See, when I was young, in the Indian culture in those days, there were only two things you could do. You can either become a doctor or you can become an engineer. There really was, I would say that there was really no ambition as such within the family, even to kind of sit down with the child and kind of ask, what do you want to be? And somehow I did not really have a whole lot of interest in becoming a doctor. So I don't think I even chose to be an engineer. I just kind of, it was like the path that almost like you were ordained to take, and you just had to walk on that path. But when I look back, I really don't know if I was really cut out to be an engineer. I mean, I went to school to be an engineer. I'm an engineer by profession, but I don't really know if I had the choice, if somebody had sat down with me and said, okay, what are your interests and what do you want to do? I don't think I would have been in the engineering profession. And then later on in my career, I decided to do a business degree. And then for the last few years, I then changed my profession. I'm not in engineering anymore. I'm now in purchasing, which is a completely different kind of a job. But I wish I'd done something different right when I was a kid.
What would you have done, do you think?
I think I would have probably gone into more like journalism in those days. I used to like to read a lot. I used to write. Like in some souvenirs, and anytime I had opportunity. And I think I probably would have gone in some kind of a profession like that. Just by coincidence, my son did a degree in broadcast journalism, and he likes it. He likes it. He enjoys it. He also likes to write and read.
So you're fairly involved in the community. What drives you to do that?
So I think I always had this somehow it was, I don't know where I picked it up, but growing up probably in a nationalistic society in those time, I had like a strong feeling about just being of service to the community. And when I was at University of Maine, I was the president of the Indian Student Association. And then when we lived for 7 years in Kokomo, Indiana, a very small city of just about 30,000 people, we founded a Indian association. We did the first Diwali celebration in the city of Kokomo for all the people who had origin in India. And over here now, I serve on the board of trustees at the Bharatiya Temple, which is the largest Hindu temple in the state of Michigan, and it is the oldest temple in the state of Michigan. And I spend a lot of time over there, and I'm also involved with other Indian organizations. But having spent so much time in the Indian associations, I'm now looking to be more involved in the city commissions and such, and that is what I think I would like to do now going forward.
You ever think about running for office?
Well, no. I have worked on campaigns though, and I've seen what it is, and I don't think, I think having seen what it is, what a campaign is from the inside, and having worked on campaigns, some have won, and campaigns that some have been lost, I don't think I would like, I would, I wish, I mean, I would have liked to run for the city council, for instance, but I don't think so. I think I would rather help somebody, somebody whose values are aligned with mine. I would probably work and help them get elected rather than do that myself.
When you think of your nationality and your heritage, how do you think of yourself? Are you an American? Are you an Indian American? Something in between?
Well, I think now myself as a American who has a lot of Indian values, because those got ingrained in me as I was growing up, which is a strong sense of family, a strong sense of community, education, hard work, honesty, and caring for each other, and especially growing up in a family that did not have a lot. We never went out to eat. In my whole life I spent, I can probably count on fingers of one hand when we went out to eat. Maybe it was 2 times. Okay, and to still have a living. Okay, and I think a lot of that I carry with me even today. But even though I have a good life today by the American standards, I have a nice house to live in. I was able to pay for the education of my kids, but those experiences that I lived through they still have, they are with me. They are with me, and I think I learned a lot living in India. Different cultures, different religions, and how to be tolerant. But I see myself as a American who has carried with him a lot of those Indian values.
What does the American dream mean to you?
I think American dream really means to be able to pursue what you want to do in life, to be what you want to be. And I think that's what both of our kids. Now, as immigrant, you always have to make compromises, and because you are coming here and you're starting from scratch, you don't have like somebody who has given you inheritance that you can count on. You have to make everything on your own, and so compromises become part of your life. You always have to balance everything out. But for our kids, they don't need to. Well, if they need iPhone, they're going to get an iPhone. Okay, it doesn't matter. But for the kids, I can see that they they feel the freedom that they can make their own life. Our son is today, he works at the Fox Sports Detroit, and he works as a production assistant in a sports department. His passion was sports, and he chose to make a career that deals in sports, coming from a Indian culture where still people think that if your child is not a doctor, there's something wrong with your child. Okay, and I remember when he got admission to Michigan and he got admission to Wayne State, and he got a full scholarship to Wayne State. But he said to me, Dad, I don't think you're going to let me go to Wayne State. And I said, why? He said, that's because you wouldn't want to tell your friends that your son didn't go to University of Michigan. And I said, look, we'll do what we think is right for you. And if we think going to Wayne State is the right choice, then I don't have a problem looking at my friends in the eye and saying proudly that he goes to Wayne State. And that's what I do when my friends ask me. But I like it that both my kids, they feel that they have the freedom to do what they want to do.
As an immigrant to this country who's been here now for some time, what advice would you give to somebody who just arrived?
Well, I would say that even though times have changed and now America is a lot more tolerant and we talk a lot more about diversity, you still have to take everything with a grain of salt. Okay? You can't expect that somebody is going to roll out a red carpet for you just because who you were in another country. You still have to learn to know that you are coming to somebody else's place and they have been kind enough to accept you, and you have to learn that as well. And in turn, it's like pay it forward. In turn, you have to do it to the others who are coming after you, and you have to help them integrate in the society, and you have to help them achieve their dreams as well, just like others are helping you right now.